or imperfections of insight. Imperfection of insight. In this stage, your knowledge of rise and fall is still weak. From the knowledge of comprehension, right? From the knowledge of comprehension up to the first part, knowledge of this rise and fall, are belonging to the purity of knowledge and vision of part and non-part. This means you know that this part on enlightenment or not. You say, oh, it's not enlightenment yet, just the impediment. So I have to be aware of every object to overcome it. So we match to this purification. As I told you, it's just the purification of the knowledge and vision of the path and non-path. As you know this, the one you are experiencing is not the path or the enlightenment. You may continue of noting on the object of your meditation. Otherwise, you just delight in them, without paying interesting upon those impediments. You will clearly notice the previous occurrence is one thing, and the succeeding occurrence is another. It's a different one. It's not the same one. Your knowledge of rise and fall has become strong and mature after you overcome the 10 impediments. Then no more impediments appear. As nature, you overcome. So every act of noting, arising and experiencing of mental, physical processes are very fast and clear as well in your knowledge, more clear than before. But this is said to be, you are reached to a strong knowledge of rise and fall. Perfect. So you know about your status. You pass that, so we have two parts of this rise and fall knowledge. The first part, you will experience the impediment. The second part, you overcome it. And for this second part, strong knowledge of rise and fall, up to the knowledge of conformity, we will study later, or the knowledge of adaptation, are belonging to the purity. The purity as the way which is knowledge and vision, or purity of vision discerning the method. There is an analogy between a traveler and meditator. I would like to say that when you reach to this strong knowledge of rise and fall, is said to be you are already on the free way, what you wish to take. Just keep driving or striving. Sooner or later, you are sure to reach to your destination. How about you, Roger? Reach to the freeway? Not? Already?
So the freeway is the second part, not the first part?
Yeah, second part. Similarly, the beginning of your drive until you reach to the freeway, you have to pass so many streets and roads. If you happen to drive by yourself, you indispensably need to study map first. and carefully drive according to the map. Otherwise, you would not be able to take the freeway you are intended to. Just waste up your time and gas as well. And also, without knowing the map or direction and drive, you are not quite expected to reach to your destination. No way. But if you are traveling with someone who are familiar with the map or the region, by just follow his direction, you can reach to the freeway easily and quickly without any hesitation, right? Without wasting up your gas and time. And please remember that until you reach to the freeway, meditation master is indispensably needed. And from then on, you can proceed to your destination through the freeway by yourself without confusion. I reach freeway, just keep going on. No confusion anymore. But until you reach the freeway, you need help. Right? If no one guides you, what do you have to do? Study the map. Have studied the map. In the same way, meditators who expect to reach to spiritual liberation should inevitably study the map of liberation. That means studying about the nature of mind and matter as we do. Right? The four great essential elements, this we have to contemplate. As five aggregates of clinging, every time we experienced it. The 12 bases, which 6 internal senses and 6 external objects. We will experience that all the time. Right? The 18 elements and so forth. Should study also how mind and matter are related to each other as the cause and effect, or practice under the guidance of competent teacher. Without knowing the nature of mind and matter, it is very hard to exterminate of your wrong view of personality. See it? We need to study the map. Now, we almost finished. Started the map. We already know about the mind and matter, about the 4 essential elements, 5 aggregates, there's 12 bases, 18 elements, the 4 noble truths, or the law of dependent origination. We know everything. I will start the map. So after you started the map, you have to follow your map. If you are still holding of this wrong view of personality, this is myself, this is your body, you still have wrong view that is man or women, and so on. If you are still holding of this wrong view of personalities, attachment will arise many often in our daily life. By having the attachment arising in your mind, it will block your way to liberation. When you have attachment as the cause, suffering as effect. You have to suffer. That's why step by step, after we study the map, study all realities will be no wrong view of personality. It's no wrong view of personality, no attachment. It's no attachment, no suffering. The wrong view, this attachment, will block your ways to liberation. You will not be able to gain your goal. In spite, you are striving for a long period of time. So we need to clear the mind first. That's why we need to study, then taking the knowledge from the studying and apply into practice. Not so long, you will come to realize the arising and vanishing of mind and matter, which is said to be you are reached to the freeway of your spiritual liberation. Then be proud of yourself and keep practicing. Gradually, you will come closer and closer to your destination. Eventually, you will reach to your goal and attain the enlightenment. See, without realization of mind and body, the cause effect, the impermanency and so on, you cannot eradicate the strong view. That's why we need to study. Even we don't have time to study like us, for many weeks, many months, many years, we need competent teacher around you, close to you, to guide you. And then you can reach to the freeway. This we need help to reach to the. After you reach to the freeway, you can go by yourself. Right? Still very important to study. In the Buddha's teaching, maybe you heard about that. Pariyati in Pali. Just study. Patipati, practicing. Pativeda, realization. First, we need study. Second one, practicing. After you practice, third one, as result, realization. Now, I would like to talk about 5 aggregates which are the objects of meditation that we experience all the time. When you practice meditation, you can observe mind and matter or 5 aggregate, either one. When your insight knowledge becomes more mature, you just seize the 5 aggregates which couple realities, feeling or sensation, perception, mental formation, and consciousness arise and disappears every moment of noting mind. Really, we already studied about 5 aggregates in detail. For general people, when they see a visible object, if it is a desirable object, pleasant feeling may arise. That's for general people. And for the undesirable object, unpleasant feelings may arise. While the object is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, then neutral feeling arises. And the same is true in the case of hearing, or smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. In reality, for a meditator, when happens to see a visible object, whether it is a desirable object or undesirable object, is not supposed to feel as like or dislike. Oh, I like that. I don't like that. It's not supposed to be like that, right? It's not supposed to feel as like or dislike. In fact, should be aware of the seeing and make a mental note as seeing, just seeing, right? Seeing. In the case of seeing, at that moment, visible object and eye sensitivity are couple realities. So I would like to classify when we see how these five aggregates arise. Right? Visible object and eye sensitivity is matter, right? Couple realities. As you know that, just see, which is called neutral feeling. You say, I like it, I don't like it. You see, just see. That's neutral feeling. You remember or recognize that what it is, what is called. Oh, I know that. I know the name. I know who is, something like that. You remember that. You recognize that. What is called with perception, sanya. The sanya arises. As to be able to see the form, the performing of volition, chedana, right? Intention, that's manasikara in Pali, and so on, are called mental formations. And without this volition, intention, and so on, you cannot see the picture. So at the moment of seeing, you know that what it is, which is called consciousness. Oh, I know that. See? Therefore, you realize that just five aggregates are arising and disappearing together very swift. You don't see the man. You don't see the woman. Here, you don't see the person. You not realize that. Or is I see that. You just five aggregates. At the moment of seeing, just five aggregates arising and disappearing. In the same way, at the moment that you are hearing, just five aggregates arise and vanish right away. The sound that you are hear and ear sensitivity are couple realities, this matter, right? This rupa. As you be mindful of the hearing and note that as hearing. The feeling is neutral feeling. See that? Neutral arises. You remember that this is the whole sound. What kind of sound? Which is called perception. You know, this plane, this car, this person. You remember, right? It's the perception. And to be able to hear the sound, the performing of intention, motive, and so on are called mental formations. And the knowing of the meaning of the sound, knowing the meaning of the sound is consciousness. Just five aggregates rise together and disappear together. And when you get smell, odor, and nose, sensitivity are couple realities, matter, rupa. As you be aware of it, and make a mental note as smelling. This neutral feeling arises at that moment. You recognize that what kind of smell is of perfume or maybe something else, right? It is perception. To be able to take this object of smell, the performing of intention, volition, and so on, are called mental formation. Knowing the object is consciousness, aggregate. Just 5 aggregates arising, disappearing at the moment of you get smell. In the case of tasting, edible food, drink, and tongue sensitivity are corporal realities. As you be mindful of it and know as tasting, or drinking, or chewing, it is said to be neutral feeling. You say, I like it, I don't like it. There's no feeling like that, right? Just a neutral feeling. You recognize that what kind of taste it is. You know, this fish, or this meat, or this beef. You know the taste. You recognize that's what kind of taste it is. It's called perception. As to be able to know the taste, the performing of volition, intention, and so on are called mental formation. As knowing of the taste is consciousness, aggregate. Just 5 aggregates. And regarding about touching, when you are touched by something, the tangible object and body sensitivity are corporal realities. As you be aware of the touching and know just as touching, it is neutral feeling. Right. As you recognize that what it is, you know what it is, you know what it comes and touch your body. It is said to be perception. To be able to realize the touching, the performing of volition, intention, and so on are mental formation. So the knowing of touching is consciousness. That's 5 aggregates arising and disappearing, instantly. Every moment, every seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, we have to be aware of on this 5 aggregates. When you see just as 5 aggregates, it's no wrong view of personality, right? There's no attachment. Moreover, when you are thinking about something, now we're talking about the mind. When you are thinking about something, your mental object, it can be mind or matter, right? It can be mind or matter. And which one of 5 aggregates? This mind and matter is one of 5 aggregates. You see, oh, this person have good heart. Just think about their mind, right? Oh, this person is very beautiful, very pretty, something like that. Think about the matter, right? That's why the mental objects can be mind or matter, which one of 5 aggregates. As you make a mental note that just thinking, it is neutral feeling arises at that moment. You recognize that the one you think, what it is, the person, the animal, something like that, It is said to be perception, sanya. You remember that, sanya. To be able to take that mental object. The performing of volition, intention, and so forth are called mental formation, sankhara. Knowing of the object is consciousness. Now you know that. Oh, this one. As I mentioned, just 5 aggregates take place and then vanish quickly. By the purpose that to be understood their natures, I classify and explain these 5 aggregates into 5 by individually. But in realities, they arise and disappear together simultaneously. We should know that too. As for meditators who are seriously practice meditation, whatever object comes to appear into 6 sense basis, just see. No like dislike, right? Just seeing, just hearing, just smelling, just tasting, just touching, and just thinking. What kind of feeling? Neutral. Yeah. But do not consider those objects as the desirable or undesirable. The feeling is neutral feeling. You think it's the desirable object, become somanasa, pleasant feeling. I don't like this ugly one. It's become unpleasant feeling. Now you just make a mental note, just seeing, hearing, and so on. Just neutral feeling. On the other hand, if meditator consider that the object is desirable, the feeling is pleasant feeling. If consider that it is undesirable, the feeling become unpleasant. If meditator consider that the object is neither good nor bad, the feeling is become neutral feeling. So if you forget to make a mental note on seeing as just seeing, on hearing as just hearing, and so on, then come to be as sensual desire or anger. If you forget to make a mental note, you cannot catch that at that moment, right? It's become sensual desire or anger. What do you have to do for this case? In this case, you should be aware of the forgetfulness, the desire, or the anger, and make a mental note as forgetfulness. I forget it. Just realize that forgetfulness. You have sensual desire on this object, just desire. You get angry with this object, just anger. So when you cannot grasp them the first time, grab the second part. They have become your meditation object too. See? So when you cannot make a mental note as seeing, and so on, desire arises, just contemplate on the desire or the anger. All this forgetfulness, desire, anger has become meditational object. That means when you cannot be aware of the seeing and so on in the first time, but try to be aware of the desire, anger, and so on as soon as they arise. Now, as soon as they arise, would be fine. You will realize that all desire, anger, and so forth arise suddenly and pass away instantly. Who do not understand is, oh, I sit meditate, I just think about the past, my experience, I feel unhappy, I feel angry with something or someone, so on. It's not supposed to be. Even as anger arises, immediately just contemplate on it. This becomes your meditation. You will see, oh, my anger arises, now disappears. My sense of desire arises, now disappears. You know their impermanence. It's fine, right? It's not supposed to feel unhappy. It's sad about that. Whatever occurs in your mind, just make mental note and be aware of it, and you will see their nature arising and disappearing. Here, what we study about so far, from the beginning until the knowledge of rise and fall. Here we have to see two kinds of characteristics. I think you may have heard before. The specific characteristic and common characteristic. It is very important to know that too. Whenever you see the characteristic of matter, what's the matter? Trace of matter. Deformed by heat and so on. Or the hardness or softness of earth element. This is the cohesion or fluidity of water element, the heat or core of fire element, the extension or construction of air element, and also when you see the characteristic of the Vedana, feeling, not Vedana, which enjoying the object. This characteristic of Vedana, feeling, just enjoying the object. The nature of Sanya is perception, which remembering or recognizing the object. At some time you may see the nature of the mental formation, a lot, right? Which led by volition, Chedana, that motivate or organizes the mental factors which associated with. And knowing the characteristic of the mind, which knowing an object. This is said to be, you realize the specific or unique characteristic of those matter and mind by individual. See that, right? When you know, now we study all about the mind, consciousness. We study about the matter, mainly is the essential element. We study about mental factor, 52. When you know, you understand, you see their nature, their characteristic, what is called? Specific characteristic. Specific characteristic. Individually. At this stage of insight knowledge is consisted into the knowledge of discerning mind and matter. The first one. Please remember the first one. Discerning mind and the knowledge discerning mind and matter. So you see the nature of this individual, of these realities, the specific characteristic. Actually, when you be able to realize the true nature of mind and matter as the impermanent, the fearful or unsatisfactory, and the unsubstantial or the uncontrollable, then it is said to be you are realized the common or universal characteristic of mind and matter. Your knowledge is high. You can be found this universal characteristic in all compounded phenomena. See, when you practice meditation, please remember that. You see, for example, you contemplate on your abdomen. You see the rising, falling. And you see rising, this extension of air element, falling, contraction of this air element. If you just see the nature of this air element, this means you see the specific characteristic of air element. When you see it's rising, falling, when you contemplate on rising, falling, you're rising. You not see their nature. You see this the arising and disappearing. When you're falling, arising and disappearing, when you see the impermanency and so on, just because common characteristic. Right? What we should see. We should try to see, to realize this is a common characteristic, or we can call universal characteristics. If you see specific characteristic, what knowledge? The knowledge of discerning mind and matter. See that, right? Knowledge defining mind and matter. If you see common characteristic, this is the knowledge of rise and fall. It's a different, right? Different. As your insight knowledge is more mature every moment, when you practice meditation, especially in your retreat, your knowledge is more mature every moment of noting, you come to realize the arising and disappearing of mind and matter, their unsatisfactoriness, and the lack of an absolute ownership over them. You cannot control them. This insight knowledge is said to be the knowledge of rise and fall. Therefore, you should strive to realize the specific characteristic up to common characteristic of mind and matter every noting mind. And may all of you succeed your ultimate goal. Oh, yeah. So, I will ask you first, before you asking me, right? Mostly for the impermanence or for the suffering, very easy to understand. For the anatta, it's the no self, no soul, or uncontrollability, or unsubstantiality. I think you already know that. Know that, right? When we study all the realities, when you see all the realities, you don't see as a person, as you, as I, as we. That's we call anatta, unsubstantiality. When you see, depend on the cause, they arise. It's good thing. You don't want to disappear, but you can control them, right? As your nature, they arise and disappear. This is because we see anatta. So I would like, since we start to study about this meditation until now, I want all of you to understand this the characteristic of this mind and matter, the common characteristic, as impermanency, a fearfulness, or sorrowfulness, or soullessness. So I think you understand, right? Okay. What is your question, please?
So I think the first one was when we talked about the 10 impediments.
Yes.
We only covered 4.
No, not 4. So I already talked about that all.
Illumination, rapture, tranquility, and
Yeah.
space. So did we cover that?
No. I already talked about that all. So, so no, I could put all. So here, one is illumination. Number 2 is rapture. 3 is the tranquility. Right? Number 4 is the excessive faith. I already talked about that, you know.
You went into depth on those 4, but after that...
Yes, I already started about excessive faith, you know.
Yeah, after your faith, what was it?
And that's the effort.
Effort?
Yes, effort is the... I already started talk about our effort. You know, we have to... We have more effort at the time, you know. I already talked about that. Or for someone, you know, or for the beginning, no sleep, no drowsiness, sleepiness. They can practice maybe the whole night, 24 hours. Say, 24 hours, they have effort, right? But after that, so you don't have to try too much to observe on one object. Just automatically arise. Yes, I'm talking about the effort, right? No, it's the effort. And then happiness. You feel very happy about your experience, yeah? Your wisdom, you know about everything, you see? I was talking about that. And mindfulness, whatever arises to you, already you can memorize that R, you can make an R. You know, no wandering mind, just equanimity. You rely on it. See, I cover it all.
Okay, so effort, happiness, mindfulness, and then what?
Happiness, wisdom, equanimity, and delight. Okay.
No, delight is different than rapture?
Oh no, delight is you delight in just the 9 kind of things what you experience.
Oh, see, I missed that.
Yeah.
I remember you talking
Okay.
about that. I didn't realize you were
Yeah.
actually talking about
Yeah. You all, yes? Yeah.
Well, I've experienced not major like that, but sort of.
Oh yes, it's not major. Even, yeah.
But it doesn't happen too often.
Yes, it's not too often. Maybe one time, maybe
And
twice.
go along quite a while before something happens, like one of those.
Yeah.
And not all of them, but certain ones I have experienced.
Yeah.
But not as much probably as I could. But I notice them as being what they are, you know?
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen too often. It should happen more often.
No, it's not more often. Maybe just about 1 day or maybe 2 days, you know. Just some of them. It's not all. Yeah. It's not should be so many often.
Okay, that answers that question. So on the lesser knowledge of arising and falling, it's the 10 impediments, right? That's the lesser knowledge. The first 2 parts.
Just yes, for the first part, we experience it for the first part.
Is there any other part for the
After you pass or overcome all this impediment, you become the second part. Your insight knowledge is very strong, stronger than the first part.
So the first part is only those 10 impediments. That's all.
Yeah,
The first part.
yeah.
And the second part, what is the main? How can you know if you're on the second part?
You already overcome either one of the impediments appears to you. You know, you already passed. Your experience is very clear, very clear. For a few days ago, what I experienced, now nothing. It's clear to me. But your mind just, you see the rising and falling very quickly.
The universal characteristic.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, some of the things we talked about of sankara, different sankara.
Yeah.
You can have more than one sankara right in the same moment, right? More than one.
Oh, no. We already studied chapter 2.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. For example, if wholesome consciousness arises at that moment, the first wholesome consciousness, right? Sincere wholesome consciousness, 38 mental factors can arise.
So you can have like perception and intention happen at the same time.
At the same time. At the same time.
What I'm seeing,
yes,
are the senses always associated with neutral feeling, and then comes the either pleasant or unpleasant, or can, when you see, actually have pleasant or unpleasant sensation in that moment? Or is it always neutral?
It's not always up to you. When you see something, if you just at that moment just saying, just neutral feeling. Maybe you change your mind. Oh, I like that. Become pleasant feeling. Just another five aggregates arise. It's not the same one. This five aggregates arise and disappear very quickly.
But in the seeing, isn't that a functional consciousness would be neutral feeling, or could you have pleasant or unpleasant with that?
Yes, we have pleasant and unpleasant too. Like, for example, for the Buddha, right? For Arahant, who become Arahant, their consciousness is the functional consciousness, right? When they see the Buddha, they're happy to see the Buddha. See? Right? At that moment, this pleasant feeling. So we all study essential or sphere functional consciousness. There are 4 somanasa and 4 upekkha. Remember, 2 feelings.
So it doesn't follow in a sequence, it happens in the moment.
Oh, it's not a sequence, depends.
In that moment.
Yeah, at that moment.
Okay. I've been thinking all week trying to figure something out about the realities. When you talk about realities, did we study all the realities?
Yes, I finished. All realities, the consciousness, right? Conscious, all realities, 121 type of consciousness, and 52 mental factors, all realities, and 28 type of matter, and Nibbana. Only this, except this is a concept. Except these 4 realities are concept. So when you practice meditation, should be realities and present moment, right? When you contemplate on your nostril, you see your nose. It's concept, right? So.
So when in this comprehension of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, those are all on the realities, basically.
Oh yes.
To the rising and falling of all the realities.
Yeah, all this stuff, vipassana, insight knowledge, the object are realities. It's not supposed to be any concept. Its concept should be samatha, tranquility, meditation.
And so you're getting to the universality of all of them arising.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And then my last question, a lot of the times when I hear people talking about Buddhism, in general, they talk about the middle way a lot.
Yeah.
I don't remember you talking much.
Oh yes, many times. The middle way is the Noble Eightfold Path.
So when you said Eightfold Path, that is...
Yes, the middle way. This middle way. That they use the middle way. So briefly, sila, morality, samadhi, concentration, panya, wisdom. This is the middle way. Please remember the Noble Eightfold Path, right understanding, right thinking, and so on. This middle way.
To be comprised of those 3.
Yes, briefly 3.
And what is the Pali term for the middle way? What's that?
Majjhima Patipada. Majjhima Patipada. Yeah, Majjhima Patipada. Yeah, Patipada is the this practice, practice. Majjhima is the middle. Patipada is the way. Majjhima is mean middle. Patipada is the way.
What does Padi mean?
Huh?
Padi, the first one, Padi.
But Badipada, way.
Because Pada is like...
No, Badipada. No. This is the idiom. Badipada, way. Yeah, you can separate, explain another meaning. Now here, Badipada should be way. The middle way. Majjhima Badipada.
All right, well, that was plenty of questions.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any question?
I've just been really thinking about that reality.
Yeah, just for, please remember, very important, very important for who practice insight vipassana meditation, very, very important. Some said, yes, please, four. What's the mind, mental factors, matter, nibbana, four. So we say mind is the mental factor, we use only mind, that's fine, right? Mind, matter, nibbana. Yeah. 1 more week. No, one more week, please. Next week will be the end of our class because the next following week I have to go to Virginia, North Carolina, and when I come back on the Buddha birthday, Vesak day. After that, I have to go to Canada. So.
And then you won't get to do it again until after your retreat?
Yes, maybe after my retreat, Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, next week at the end of our class.
Next week is the end until October, maybe
Yeah,
later.
yeah.